All right, so hey, people of God, this is Rashana B back with On My Way Up movement, and I'm back with an inspiring word. So, people of God, I'm at a public park. They're having an event, so never mind the music, okay? But I wanted to come and bless you all with an inspiring word. People of God, yesterday I was watching a movie called I Can Only Imagine. It's on Prime. And it's basically about the man who composed the song, the Christian song, I Can Only Imagine. And in the beginning of the movie, the reporter asks him, how did he come up with this song? And he says, well, it was pretty easy. It only took me about 10 minutes. And so the reporter says, no, I bet it took your whole life to write a song like that. And so the movie goes back into his life. And people of God, this man was badly abused by his father. So much so that he wouldn't be able to sleep on his backside at night because he was so bruised and in pain. His father was abusive to him and his mother. He grew up in a house full of rage and violence. His only escape was music. He was always, wearing his cassette player because this took place in the 80s. And that was his way of escaping, the abuse and the violence, that was in his home. And so one day his mother, fed up with the abuse, would basically pack her and her son up. She would drop him off at a Christian summer camp, never telling him that she's abandoning him for the rest of his life. And so he goes to this Christian summer camp where he basically receives salvation. He hears about Jesus. He finds out about Jesus. He's journaling, he's learning, hearing about forgiveness. He, established a relationship with a pastor that ends up being an awesome role model for him. He even meets his future wife and his lifelong best friend there, okay? And so, he grows up still in the house with his father because it's just him and his father. His father's still abusing him, and he pursues a football career thinking that this will impress his father and that, it will help him and his father reach a common ground. He wants a relationship with his father. And so in the midst of pursuing this dream that's not his, he gets hurt. So much so to where he's unable to ever play football again. He's in a wheelchair. He breaks both legs, okay? When this happens, he's forced to choose another elective, and it ends up being music, okay? He gets into this musical class that he doesn't want to be in, and he happens to have a really tough teacher that tells him, you're not going to drop the class. So one night, by accident, he's alone, and he's kind of messing around with the instruments and stuff, and he ends up singing, and the teacher hears him without him knowing, hear him singing. He doesn't even hear himself singing because he's singing with his cassette player on. And so she hears that this man has a gift, okay, a gift literally from God. And so then she starts to help him perfect and hone his gift. She forces him to participate in plays and musicals. This man's voice is so beautiful that it ends up becoming well known in his town, okay? So his father hears about it, sees his name on a flyer, and one morning during breakfast is angry, okay, about it, actually really jealous, okay? And so because his son is telling him that I want to pursue singing, it's my dream. And so he's been telling him, you're not good enough, it'll never happen for you, because the father's football career never happened for him, and this was why he was really a bitter, an enraged man. And so he slaps the son over the head with a ceramic plate. The son jumps up, says, I can't do this anymore. He packs his stuff. He leaves his girlfriend, abandons his girlfriend. He leaves her heartbroken. He goes on the road. He goes on tour. He haphazardly joins this band. They find out that they all work really well together. He has a beautiful voice. They have all the makings of an extraordinary band, and yet they cannot get their big break. They're going from place to place, town to town, event after event, and can't find it. In the midst of this, the guy, who wrote this song, I Can Only Imagine, his name is Bart. He's been writing a famous producer for 2 years every week, telling him, meet me here, meet me there, because he wants this guy to hear his voice. Finally, the guy shows up. He recognizes raw talent, that they got something, but he also is seeing that something is missing. And so he will tell him, you need to go and confront your demons. Bart starts to cry, and he says, my dad used to abuse me. And so the producer tells him, you need to go and confront that, because this guy, this producer, was able to discern that he was unable to reach his full potential due to, unforgiveness or just unchecked pain or trauma. And so Bart packs up, leaves his band, goes back home to his father, not knowing that his father has been writing him, that his father has received salvation, has fell in love with Jesus, has been praying that him and his son be able to reconcile. He gets to the house. The Lord answered his prayers, okay? Him and his son established this awesome relationship, actually inspired his son to pursue Jesus and to start walking with Jesus head on, okay? Full out, okay? He is so astonished at the transformative power of Jesus because he saw his father as a monster, and now this is a sweet guy, an admirable guy, a guy that he enjoys, that he admires, wants to be like, has changed, fell in love with Jesus. And so, like I said, Bart now has fallen in love with Jesus, has reestablished his relationship with Jesus. And so he packs up again and he leaves. While he's on the road, okay, he goes in some of those old journals that he wrote as a child, in pain, broken, okay, sees that he had kept writing a phrase, "I can only imagine." He sees it in all his journals. He looks up and he says, "Okay, God, I hear you." And there is the song, okay. He sings on stage. His high school sweetheart is there. They reconcile. He's able to make peace with her now because he's able to deal with his demons. They end up being married, and like she prophesied, they ended up being together, falling in love, having kids, and being together for the rest of their lives. And so this song went multi-platinum, okay? On his father's dying bed, this was something else that just stunned me. The father left him some money, and he said, "You'll get a check every month that will help you cover your, basically cover your expenses, so you don't have to worry about that and you can pursue your dreams." Do you know that at the end of the movie, right before the credits, they write across the screen that the week that he was to get the last check from his father, that his song will become a #1 seller. The minute that his earthly father's provision ran out, hallelujah, God came through, and this man's song made #1 seller, multi-platinum. They would show this man was singing before the president and the vice president. Okay, they would show people giving testimonials on how the song carried them through tragedy and pain. Now, this is what's interesting to me. While he was going through that, he had no idea that God was setting him up through all the pain, okay? That God was setting him up when his legs got broke and he took him off that path of pursuing football and put him in a class he didn't want to be in. He was able to recognize a gift that he didn't even know was there. A destiny helper, his teacher, was there to help him hone and perfect his gift. She literally forced it out of him, okay? He didn't know that his father was praying for him, okay, and that God wanted him to forgive his father before his father left this earth, and that his father would be able to establish the forgiveness that he needed to make peace before he died. He did not see any of this, okay, but we were able to see it because we were able to see it in this movie. Now he's able to see, okay, but at the time, it was just a bunch of confusion. His life didn't make sense. He was getting hurt all the time. He was full of anger and rage. He didn't even know that it was disabling him from reaching his destiny, people of God. And so I was encouraged by that because we are not able to see all that we're going through: the divorces, sicknesses, diseases, suffering, affliction, betrayal, abandonment, being a single mom, single father, imprisonment, in jail, probation, parole, drug addiction, bad habits, bad relationships, abusive relationships, okay, maybe even child molestation, rape, miscarriages, abortions. We're not able to see what is going on here, but God is working. God was working in this man's life the whole time, okay? Even provision, okay? God worked it out for this man, okay? People of God, be encouraged. Be encouraged. I know that it's hard. Looking at that man go through what he went through, people of God, it was so easy for me to say, just stand strong. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, because I knew what his end was going to be, because we know the story about the song or whatnot. But he didn't know. That's what I got the revelation about. The whole time he was going through this, he didn't understand. When he was put in a wheelchair, he didn't understand. When the little girl told him that they were going to be together, he didn't know that was going to be the love of his life, that was going to be his wife. You know, he didn't know. He had no idea. Like, you don't know and I don't know, but we walk by faith and not by sight. It don't make sense, but God has promised to walk with us through affliction and fire. The Bible don't say that we run through these things. The Bible don't say that we're able to sidestep fire and waters of affliction, trials of fire and waters of affliction. It said we walk through. Okay, and God has promised to hold us up in his righteous right hand. God has promised to hold our hands, to order our steps. He's walking with us through it. The process may be slow. This process may be hard. Okay, the process may be frustrating and you're wondering when. So was that man that wrote that song. Okay, he was crying out, wondering when. People were telling him it wasn't going to work for him. He wasn't good enough. He went through a lot of the things that we go through, if not more. Some of us have went through more than what he went through. Okay, but be encouraged. Be encouraged. Okay, you can only imagine what God has for you. No ear has seen, no eye has seen, no ear has heard. Okay, what God has for you. It is beyond your imagination, according to Ephesians chapter 3. People of God, I hope that this blessed you. Please go back and watch that movie. It's called I Can Only Imagine, and it's on Prime. Okay, so people, please like, subscribe, share, comment. Tell me what you all think about my content, and you however blessed one. I'll be back with another word.